Well, hey, what's going on, man? Serve Day 2024.
Yes.
Best day of the year because we serve the Lord with gladness. Woo-hoo! Let's go! Hey, what's going on? One of the things we love about this year's Serve Day 24, is our collaboration and our partnership with Convoy of Hope, Ark Churches, Grow Leader, Church of the Highlands, so many churches. I think there are 11 cities, 12 different churches, over 100 churches participating with this partnership with Convoy Hope. How much does Convoy mean to us?
Convoy means the world to us. We're so honored that they would send a truck right here.
Right here. Where we at?
Leeds, Alabama.
Leeds, the home of Lane Strands. Come on.
Yeah.
Leeds, Alabama. We love Hal Donaldson. We thank God for our pastor, Pastor Chris, and Pastor Brother Hal, are big friends. And let's show them all that we're going to be doing today. What is happening today?
There are 7 serve projects just from this location all day long. All kinds of different things happening, but we are blown away by what came in this truck that we're going to be able to serve this community with. Take a look at this.
Yeah, check this out. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. We got some runners right here. Lane's a runner. I don't know if they got his size. Check this out. Look at this. Look at all the people over here rallying. We're rallying. We're rallying. Hey, here we go. Here we go. We got Bibles. Giving out Bibles. Look at this. Cheez-Its. Cheez-Its for the glory of God. Bible. And then, hey, one of my favorites. Look at this. Fruit Loops. Fruit Loops. I love Fruit Loops. But here's the key thing. It's not about the food. It's not about all that. It's about a young kid or a family that eats that in the morning, and that kind of gets them through the day.
Yep.
And not only are we giving out the water right here, but we're giving out the bread of life and the water of life, which is Jesus. So I thank God for Convoy, Church of the Highlands, all the churches participating. And because at the end of the day, it is about Christ. It's not about a project. It's about people. Thank you, Convoy of Hope, for your partnership all over the United States. Over 500,000 pounds of food and distribution items, making a difference. Thanks a lot. Man, I am so excited for y'all to be a part of Unscripted. My goodness.
I know. Yes. This is great.
Come on.
Thanks for having us.
I don't know if there's an unscripted episode that I have been more anxious, more anticipating, expectation than this one, because number one, I love each one of you, and I thank God for you. We get to serve Church of the Highlands with Pastor Chris in an incredible way. Great church, great pastor, great leadership. But then we all have a heart for outreach.
Yeah, sure.
And we all have a heart for serving people. And so why don't you quickly introduce yourself so everybody knows who we're talking to, what our relationship together.
Yeah.
And so let's do that. And then I'm going to fire some questions at one of my favorite groups I've ever talked to. This may be my favorite moment in Unscripted, the history of Unscripted.
Hey, what an honor.
So it's going to happen. Let's start with Rachel.
Yes.
So I'm Rachel Erwin, and I work with Highlands, work with you on your team, work with our Servolution team, and I'm the National Serve Director at Highlands.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
And I am Rachel's husband.
Yes, you are.
Yes. So my name's Chris, and I serve as the campus pastor, or we both serve as campus pastors for our Montgomery campus at Highlands. Work with you and oversee prison ministry for Highlands, and just work alongside you with missions and outreach.
Yeah. What a generous church we have.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's the most generous church on the planet.
Yes.
We're still living
And we
the
have
dream.
such a generous pastor. I mean, y'all been at the church
14 years.
Wow.
We've been campus pastors for 14 years.
That's right,
We've been at the church since 2006.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah.
18 years at Highlands.
Yeah,
And
you remember
we're
that,
still blown away.
Do you remember that first conversation, Pastor Chris?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
It was a little intimidating. I remember sitting down with PC and I thought, wait a minute, he's too real for me. Like, wait, we're supposed to be wearing our pastor mask.
No.
His realness was
real.
It intimidated me,
Yeah.
and it really broke some things off of us. So it changed our life. Highlands changed our life.
That's so good. That's so good.
Yeah.
I'm Robert Record. I work with Christ Health Center. I'm a family doc. I get to lead that work. I helped start our Dream Center, our Woodlawn campus. I think I'm your Swiss Army knife, man.
Yeah, you are. That's right.
I guess more important than all that, I'm your friend, man.
Yeah, you are.
Like,
Dr. Record is
we're real friends.
one of my closest friends.
And get to do a lot of things. Pastor Chris has let me wear a lot of different hats here, and they tend to change every once in a while.
Right.
I love the variety and how our pastor lets us. I don't know if freelance is the right word, but it sure feels a lot like freelance. Go make a difference.
And you're really a liaison to the community. I mean, you're letting me know, you're letting Pastor, you're letting us know about some things that are happening deep into the heart of our city. Kind of what's happening with mayors, city councilmen, city leaders, service providers. a lot of our partners, you're in those meetings, in those conversations because of Christ Health Center, and you're a doctor. So that's been a cool thing of being able to be almost engaged or integrated in our city.
I love what I get to do.
Yeah.
I get to meet people, look for opportunities, and connect the church to those opportunities.
Yeah.
And who
That's
gets
good.
to do that? That's a pretty good job right there.
There's nobody better at connects the dots than you do, Dr. Record.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm Jamil Gilleylen. I am the Woodlawn campus pastor at Church of the Highlands, and been involved in inner city ministry for quite some time, partnering alongside this great man as well. And so we've been trying to tackle the city of Birmingham, especially the community of Woodlawn in inner city settings, and just really trying to share the love and the hope of Christ and allowing the church to be a part of the fabric or a part of the village ultimately to just really bring a lot of love to the city.
It was a good day when God brought you to Highlands.
I still remember that day. I remember us having a lunch, the interview, and it was a lot about ministry, but a lot about basketball too and sports. So don't let him fool you now. He's an athlete.
We were
now.
ballers. You're still a baller. Yeah, you played a whole lot more college ball than I did. I promise
Because
you that.
my body feels every bit of it too.
Well, you and your precious wife and your daughters are amazing. And I remember our first meeting, you had this phone that was like this massive phone that was like a camera that had a phone on the side of it. Normally you have a phone and then there's a camera. This was a camera with a phone.
It took great
You
pictures
working
though.
for
Great
AT&T?
pictures.
Hey.
I did.
Who are you working for?
Yeah, I worked for Accenture Consulting, but AT&T was our client. So
Yes.
I was in the IT
Was that a
space.
special phone only you got?
No.
It's James
It was a
Bond phone.
Samsung phone. I
It was
don't know
a
if they
James
still
Bond
make
phone.
it.
Yeah.
So hey, what's brought us together is outreach and serving people.
Yeah.
And again, so many people, they're so thankful for. I mean, thank God for people that give to our churches, give and are faithful with their tithe and offering, because most churches and organizations are then tithing out of that to missions.
Right.
And whether that's what we do around the world, and we do a bunch of that, what we do nationally with whether it's Grow, Lead, or Art, but then local in our cities. And we have how many campuses now?
26.
26 campuses,
Yeah.
but all of them are individual cities, individual
Right.
communities. So whether you are a church planter or you're a pastor in a smaller church or a larger church or one location, whatever it is, it's all contextual to reaching people. So that's what we have in common. And, we just have a heart for that. And there's a bent to, when did you know, we'll start with you, Jamil, run around. When did you know that you had this outreach bent? Because before you were the campus pastor, you were serving at the Dream Center.
That's right.
That's your original job that we enlisted for you to be a part of and on the Dream Team.
That's right.
And so when did you know, I've got something, there's something about me about outreach and serving. It's different in this capacity.
Yeah, I knew it was something I couldn't shake. I still remember I was working in corporate America, and there's times where the Lord kind of nudges you into something or pushes you into something, and you try to dismiss it. Like I would try to dismiss it pretty often, but I mean, I would have dreams. I would almost have this supernatural level of empathy for
That's
individuals.
important.
Yeah, so I mean, I would drive and I would
Calling.
see people. Yeah, I would see people under bridges, and it would bother me.
Yeah,
I would keep going, and I was like, I don't know if I can keep driving. I would circle back sometimes, just like, how can I pray for you? And I was, at first I felt like maybe this was common for everyone, and then I realized maybe there's just a unique grace to have this kind of compassion. And I knew then that I'm supposed to be involved somehow. Didn't know how, but somehow I knew my calling was attached to it.
Yeah, that's good.
And there was an open door, of course, serving at the Dream Center with Lawn. You kind of just, you followed that.
Absolutely. And then I think the more we were just getting immersed in it, and then you just start knowing, like, man, I was made for this. I didn't keep up with hours. It was no 8 to 5. You're just so consumed by it, you just want to see a difference made.
And you were working a job.
Yes. First 2 years, year and a half, I was an intern. So I still had a full-time job, and I was partnering with Dr. Record, and you remember Amy Lee was out there then, and we were just partnering together and just doing that in addition to a full-time job.
That's good.
He was working a job and was a Highlands College student. And I can remember it was a Saturday, we were at a serve day, like a first Saturday serve day, and he and Anna were there, and there was this moment. Our kids in this neighborhood can't see in me and my wife what they can see in you and your wife.
Wow.
They have got to see that.
That's
It was
huge.
just like, you have got to work here.
Yeah.
And I mean, shout out to you, because pay cuts and risk and change and all of that, but this is who I am. This is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
We're going for it.
Wow.
Yeah. What was your journey, Doc?
Oh, you know, if you look back, you probably can come up with like, oh, this was the moment, man. I remember being at the mental hospital with my mom, who I wasn't in it. My mom worked there, and one of her people came. I want to be at the party, and he was in tears, and he just wanted to go to the party. And even as a little kid, thinking about people who wanted to go to the party and didn't get to, and then my parents took me from a school that everybody looked like me and to a school that nobody looked like me, at least not on the football team. I mean, I wasn't called it. I mean, I wasn't taught it. I just kind of caught it. Like this whole idea
it's important.
These kids around me, these are the ones.
Yeah.
And then even in medical school, there was a lot of directions you could have went. But you knew something was driving you, something was moving you.
I would love to say that, but I think God had me. I was hooked, you know, and there was no taste for it, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I get paid to do this now, but I did it before I got paid, and I can imagine doing something else. Like, everything else kind of lost color to me, lost interest. And then here's like 3D, 4D experience at Coca-Cola Museum of here's life is out here hanging out with people.
What's amazing is when you look at Christ Health Center now, multifaceted, a lot, I mean, pharmacy, mental health, everyday seeing patients,
OB
referral, OB residents, internship, wide range, partnerships with a lot of service providers across but it didn't start that way. Give me a minute on, because somebody's saying, well, man, we have a heart for that. How do you start? What do you, we can't start that, it's too big, or we don't, but you started simple.
You just start.
Yeah.
We are going to go here, and you fail. And I failed. Like, everybody tells the good part of the story. Nobody tells about Pastor Chris coming and saying, hey, that isn't what you said, and let's reboot.
There's a lot of rebooting.
Reboot, that's a good word.
But you start, and you have a commitment to the who.
Yeah.
And then you look for a way to serve that who. And there are little places where I was at the job I did have. And then there was another level there and another level there. And then it just overflowed into, we'll take what seemed like a risk, but really wasn't a risk, because the real risk was not doing it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. How did y'all know there was a bent to care? I mean, the Montgomery campus always helps lead in some of our outreach.
Yeah.
A lot of the concentration of the correctional facilities are in that area.
Yeah.
So you definitely have that exposure, opportunity. But then even beyond that, helping churches learn how to engage their community. I know you do that every day.
Yeah.
But give me a little background.
Yeah, so for me personally, you know, we both love outreach, but for me, I grew up in a home where my dad left, my mom remarried someone that was verbally, violently abusive. So I grew up in a domestic violent home. And it was somebody in the community that was outreach, a little weird, because outreach people can be a little weird. Of course.
Yes, we are.
We are a little weird.
We are.
Yes.
But
Claim it.
it was this lady that was on a very hard part of town. She had a little trailer, a little ministry, and she had a ministry to women who had been abused. And someone gave my mom her phone number. She reached out to my mom on a terrible, terrible day, and she said, do you need help? And my mom said, yeah, I need help. And we left our house at like 6 in the morning the next morning. And of course, it was a long journey. It didn't get better overnight. But a year later, after we're on this journey, a friend of mine invites me to church in middle school. Hadn't been connected to a church, got in the youth group, and I was addicted. I love it. So I believe in the church. I love the church. I believe in outreach because it works. And I believe that, you know, inviting people to church works.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that and Rachel is kind of painting a picture of what, you know, a lot of people walk through. You come through some stuff. I know it's your story, just, you know, where the church came to you. And I think what that does is that plants that seed for people who really have the heart for outreach and helping people. That seed was planted because somebody helped them. And of course, Rachel has always been that for us. And we back in Montgomery, I think being in our city, and every city has the need. You know, we've heard pastors say, well, I don't know, we don't have a lot of this in our city or a lot of that in our city, but there's always a need. There's always someone to help. And Montgomery had that. And so we just saw the opportunity. Even before we had a campus, Rachel actually led this. We would take peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to homeless people.
First outreach.
That was our very first outreach. And we had this little lady who we took a peanut butter and jelly sandwich
Yep.
to. Her name's Miss Vera.
You met her, little mama.
Yeah, we call her Little Mama. I call her the church mother. And she started coming to the church, and she's still at the church.
Yeah.
You know, it's 14 years later.
Family.
The whole family.
Yeah, Helen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yes.
Yeah, million sandwiches, maybe.
Yep.
well, and it's like,
Undertelling the number on the selling.
yeah, well, and I think it's like what Dr. Record said. It's the simple acts of kindness.
Yeah.
Like you just got to have eyes and ears for that. Which is, I think, the local church should have the eyes and
That's
ears
right.
for that. That we're
You said something, Rachel, I think is so interesting. When your mother called that lady, to me, this sums up outreach and serve. How can I help you?
Yeah, the lady. She went in the fire with my mom, and her name was Miss Dimple.
That is a
Miss
bridge.
what?
Miss Dimple.
Dimple.
And
Dimple.
and always had lipstick on her teeth.
Yeah, yeah.
I was just always watching her when she spoke. But she was just someone that didn't just call and say, let me pay a bill, or,
yeah.
she said, I'm going to walk with you through
Yeah.
this, and she did. It was a long
It's a good
journey.
lead question. How can I help you? Any church, any person could do that.
yeah.
That's true.
I mean, when you
Yeah.
think about it, anybody could do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Chris said something that I thought was really specific when he said that a lot of times it's things you were involved in that kind of spurs you on to help others. And listening to your story, like I still remember my moment in life being on the bathroom floor, like praying and believing for a miracle, and God finding me right where I was.
Yeah.
And out of that same drive, it's like I just feel consumed to speak to other people who may be on the bathroom floor of life.
Wow.
Yeah.
On the floor of life.
Wow.
So I think even as we see teens and people that want to be a part, a lot of them, we all have a story.
That's right.
And a lot of our story points back to outreach somewhere or another, someone else going outside of their comfort zone, outside of their own bubble, if you will, to extend the hope of love and just really deliverance.
Yeah.
And
for
there's
us. So we feel
there's
compelled to give it to
100
others.
ways to do it.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I mean,
gosh,
if
yes.
there's 100 steps in serve, in outreach, and we see people at all those different steps. There are those that are giving finances. There are those that are praying. There are those that are making a difference in the school, in the neighborhood. There's the professional man. There's the professional woman. There's the college student. It's Dr. Record making a difference.
Yeah.
It's your wife Leland making a difference.
Right.
It's your son making a difference. It's your daughter. All of you are making a difference in a different expression.
Yeah.
But all of it together builds a bridge to reach someone. And I think we should speak to that for a moment.
Yeah.
Because it gets on me. I could run around this little studio right here. Because people say, well, I can't. That's the missionary. That's the street preacher.
Oh, man.
That's the food bank.
Yeah.
Not me.
No.
Man, I'm living in middle America. I'm a mom. I got 2 kids.
It's
You're making a
encouragement.
difference.
Yeah.
It's a heart. It's a spirit.
Yeah.
Making a difference. It's a noticing. It's doing what you can when you can. Mother Teresa said, just because you can't help everyone, don't let it be an excuse you can't help anybody.
Right.
You can help somebody.
Right,
There got to be
somebody.
somebody you can help.
You can walk slowly. You say it all the time,
You can
but
ask
you
the
can
simple
walk
question.
slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah, walk slowly through the grocery store. Turn your head, notice people, see people where they are in their moment. Help that mom at the grocery store that's struggling getting her kid
Yeah.
in the car. Take her cart back for her.
Yeah.
Those are just moments that encourage us, and we all know at this stage of life we all need hope. Our world
That's a
needs
good way to
hope.
put it.
I like what John Maxwell says, where he talks about it's about towels, not titles. Where Jesus, which I believe really represents the church, he took that title robe off, he put
Yeah,
the towel
wash their
around his
feet.
waist, and he said, hey, watch what I'm about to do.
Yeah.
I need you to do this.
Yeah.
I need you to take those things off, put the towel on, and wash feet.
Wow.
And just
good.
and do the things
Yeah.
that most that society would not
Yeah.
want to do.
Yeah.
But the church is called to do those things.
We're going to say, Doc.
Well, I just think we're all wired to serve.
Yeah.
I mean, some of us have found it, or I think we're always refining it, right? But
Yeah.
I have a couple of patients in wheelchairs that life's thrown them hard curveballs.
Sure.
Trauma and violence left them there, and they sit in the house all day, and they consume, media or whatever they can, but life can be miserable. And every one of them, here's the question: what are you doing to serve somebody else? And they're like, well, I can't leave the house. I know you can't leave the house, except you're here today, but what are you doing to serve somebody? Well, I don't have any money. What are you doing? And when they can catch it, there's somebody next door to you. You go out to your front porch. There's somebody in the Section 8 housing community right next to you who's got it worse than you or who is sadder than you today.
Can you think of someone like that?
There was somebody this week, we were sitting there and they are going through hell and back, right?
Yeah.
They're just struggling.
Yeah, a lot.
Somebody's dying. And I looked at him, I said, would you pray for this ministry, Christ Health Center, every day for the next year? Would you just do that? Because I think you're going through so much, and God says he's near the brokenhearted. You must be closer to him than me right now.
Yeah.
Would you pray for here each
what a
day?
great purpose.
Yeah. Purpose and freedom, that it's not just about my pain, but I'm close to this guy, God, and he can take care of me.
Yeah.
It does something on the inside of you. I realize this, that when we get around a lot of these outreach people, you know, when we do the big events and the big outreach events, they're some of our favorite people to hang out with.
Oh, gosh.
No one is upset serving others.
Yeah.
Everyone has the best attitude. There's something that's happening on the inside of us when we have those eyes of care and compassion that they're the best people to be around. And maybe some different personalities that you
We're all different,
individuals,
But they're wanting to know when we can do it again.
That's right.
That's right.
There's so much joy.
Selfless.
You build an army out of people that just want to serve others.
You know, it's great, and I love that you brought up the different spectrums of people and the seasons of life they're in. Here's something that I've learned and began to realize: we all have something to give.
Yeah.
Whether you're in the wheelchair, whether you're a single mom, it's like we all have some. I think sometimes we dismiss value we can contribute in the lives of others. It's as simple as just, how can I add value to someone else? Make things brighter, make things better.
And how can we see value in the people that the world around us doesn't see value?
Yeah,
you know,
that's a great topic.
That Mr. Curtis, who was our dear friend, who just passed away, in his wheelchair, folded those brochures for 10 years for church, you know? And he made a difference. He had purpose. But it was legitimate purpose.
It's community.
You know, every one of those connection cards we got, he put it in there.
That's right.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Do you think, Jamil, I know being at the Woodlawn campus, being in one of our, a little bit of a forgotten community at times.
Yeah.
What has it taught you? What has it taught you, you know, as a husband, as a man, being in that community, seeing many people that you can connect with, that you identify with, but you still have so much hope, even though there's gun violence, there's gang activity, there is poverty, there is food shortage. There's things that are happening. That happens in every community, but you still glean. You have a radiance of hope.
A couple of things I've learned. I'll say one, you know, never get too low.
Yeah.
You know, and I always try to make sure we're watching for the wins.
Yeah.
Because the kingdom is winning.
That's right.
Sometimes you can let the news provide the main narrative. So we're always trying to make sure we're rewriting that narrative and we're echoing the successes of the neighborhoods and the communities that we're in, because sometimes it can be a little discouraging with this type of news coming out. So just make sure that we don't get too low. And then another thing is just ensuring that as a church, as a pillar of light in an area, make sure that you still have ears to hear.
That's good.
You know, because the community and the people that are there have something to say.
Yeah, there's a sound.
Yes, and a lot of times, sometimes we're not careful as a church, we can allow our ears to be muted.
Right.
To the cries of the people, to the different voices. Sometimes they need someone else to speak up for them and intervene on their behalf, be an advocate, you know? So I think all those things have just really taught me the role the church has in community settings where you're surrounded by things that sometimes can seem a little hopeless at times.
Give me. Let's do this. I'll wrap up. But give me that statement that's important for outreach. For me, when you were talking, I thought, see a need, meet a need.
Yeah.
That's my statement. What's your statement?
That's good.
It would probably be along the lines of, you know, find a need and fill it, find a hurt and heal it. Yeah.
That's good. That's good, Chris.
I think one of the things that I love to say is we still have the only thing that works. It's Jesus.
Yeah.
We have the only thing that works. We have what everyone needs.
Yeah.
And so that creates that excitement.
Be a real friend and feel it.
Yeah.
Be close enough to somebody's life that they don't have to tell you. You're close enough you can just feel what they're feeling.
Yeah.
That's good. Outreach to me.
That's what outreach is to you.
Yeah.
Well, I'll probably boil it down to Dr. King said once that we all can be great because we all can serve.
Yeah.
We all can
That's
be great.
good.
Sometimes just the
You
narrative.
quoted Dr. Queen, so you just
You one up all us. And you live that, Jamil.
Yeah. I think sometimes because of the circumstances people are in, they can sometimes not feel worth or worthy.
Yeah.
But you can be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
definitely.
You can be a servant.
That's every day, man. That's
Yeah.
just living that way, getting them in the morning. I was at a little place the other day, and it was, a good situation there, and people doing their life. And I was getting a cookie, telling myself, and there was somebody there that was being very impatient with the person that was providing these cookies for us, and I could just sense the tension. There were 4 or 5 other people waiting. And I just, in that moment, I felt like the best way I could serve was be positive. And again, I don't know any of these people. They don't know me, but as this person was complaining, I was complimenting, and I was just trying to counter the complaints with compliments.
Yeah.
And it was obvious to every what I was doing, and to that
Changing
person
it.
too.
Yep.
But I was all right. He was smaller than me. I was all right. I can handle myself. But I was trying to just make the atmosphere. Be a friend, feel it. Be Jesus in that moment. Try to be great and serve. I was trying to serve the moment.
Yeah.
And, just to change the atmosphere, change the environment, impact something that felt negative. And all for the cause of Christ. I'm not wanting anybody to look at me. I'm not wanting anybody to see me. I am a paper plate.
Yeah.
He is the main course.
Yeah.
And I think that's what outreach and serving is to me.
Right.
So good.
Changing the atmosphere, changing the environment, making a difference when you can, where you're at.
Yeah.
And I see my daughter raising Harlow, serving that little grandbaby.
Yeah.
I see my wife on the phone with maybe a pastor's wife who's walking through something.
Yeah.
All of it in different expressions.
Yeah.
But all of it trying to change, bring a change about. I think that's why the church is here.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, I'll say you have been just an incredible example. I remember we were together one time, and we were in an airport, and we were in the bathroom, and there was a guy cleaning the bathroom, and you said, "You know what? I'm gonna bless this guy," and you gave him a little blessing, a little handshake blessing. And you told that guy, "Hey, a lot of people may not see you, but I saw you, and thanks for cleaning this bathroom."
Wow.
That's
And
great.
man, that did something to me just watching you do that. I think we've all learned from you and Pastor Chris's heart for all of this, for our communities and the cities that we're in and campuses that we're in. It brings fulfillment to us,
right.
but we're learning how to do this from, man, you guys that have taught us so well just to always see the needs, see people, and feel
so
those
good.
needs.
Yeah, and Pastor
That's
Chris
so
says walk slowly through the crowd.
Yeah.
And when we first started, I didn't know what that meant. Okay, I'm in a hurry. I got to get to the kids area. Or I'm serving here. And, I got to go.
Doing the work of the Lord.
Yes, I got to go. But when you walk slowly through the crowd, you're noticing people. You're seeing the mom walk in that's got the, kids on all the arms. And in our community, we have a lot of, military people. So women are walking in by themselves all the time with kids. And you're just noticing those people, and you're seeing that we have a guy at our campus that is, he's handicapped, and he parks. You have to tell the story, but he parks at the very back of the parking lot.
Yeah.
And he does it just so that people can see him walking through, and he wants to be a light. He wants to be noticed. He wants
big
to
deal.
see him.
big deal.
How does he say it? He says it.
He wants to remind the devil that he's not
That's
winning.
right.
That God's still winning
Strong.
in him, and it has
Not
opened
today.
up opportunities to share Jesus.
And when you're walking
love all
slowly
that.
through the crowd, you can see this man walking up, and it just touches you. So
I love all that. I mean, that's super. That's what it's all about. Well, my favorite unscripted, come on, 3-point sniper right here. Triple R,
shot callers.
C-Money, and the Queen. We're all here.
That's right.
Hey, thanks for having a conversation about outreach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Unscripted. We just want to take a brief moment to say thank you to Wesleyan Investment Foundation. Boy, they've been a blessing, and they did a lot to make this episode possible. For over 80 years, WIF, as we call them, has been helping church planners with their borrowing and investing needs. Even their incredible, they offer on-demand savings accounts that not only give a high rate of interest, but those funds are used to provide loans to churches to expand the kingdom of God. They help us plant new churches.
grateful for that. WIF also partners with pastors and churches to provide funding for spaces, places, for new construction, and it's amazing, buy land to make that vision that a pastor has a reality. If you're dreaming about a new project for your ministry or how to invest the resources that you already have, we think WIF can help you, and I think they're the best at it. Make sure to check them out on our website, arcchurches.com/partners, to learn more about all that they do for the kingdom of God.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Pastor Mike from Life Point Church, Clarksville, Tennessee. We are thrilled to be a part of Serve Day, partnering with Servolution, Arc Churches, Life Point, Convoy of Hope, and other Middle Tennessee churches. This in particular is the first year that we've gotten to partner with new church plants in the Nashville area, the Way Church, Citizens Church, Pastor Noah, Pastor Jason, their whole team. It's been tremendous to get to do this together. Listen, we hear it all the time from Pastor Dino, Pastor Chris. Our leadership says the kingdom of God is built on relationships. And what a great time to express those relationships serving our city. Come on, everybody.
Hey, Jason Laird, lead pastor of Citizens Church right here in Franklin, Tennessee. And I just gotta tell you, today has already started off to be an amazing day. We have about 50 of our volunteers. And just to think, we're a 21-week-old church, and yet over 50 people showed up today because of their heart to serve. We're partnering with other great churches in our area. We received a truck from Convoy of Hope, and we sort of kind of divided it between all of us so that we could reach this Nashville region. And we're seeing thousands and thousands of families impacted. I mean, just in our backyard right here in Franklin, we're serving 500 families, bringing them food, bringing them different items that's going to help serve them in their time of need. It is amazing to get to be a part of over 2,000 churches that are doing this all around the world, and this is when the church shines, and it would not be possible without Convoy of Hope. Convoy, thank you so much. How you have been so generous, and as a church planner, I don't know what we would do and where we'd be without incredible partners like you. Thank you for the way that you give. Thank you for the way that you serve. We're truly making a difference here in Franklin, Tennessee.
Hey, my name's Noah Herron, and I'm the lead pastor of Way Church right here in Nashville, Tennessee. I just want to say a huge thank you to Convoy of Hope for providing all that you guys provided for us today. This is absolutely incredible. We're a 10-month-old church, so we're just getting off the ground, and thanks to Convoy, we are able to serve and love on the people in Nashville, Tennessee at such a higher level than we might be able to do just starting off as a church plant. We got here at about 7 o'clock this morning. We unloaded the truck. We got all of our volunteer stuff set up so that they could stay cool in the summer heat. We've been handing out food for people. We've been praying with families and getting to hear their story and hear how we can come alongside of them as a church. We've actually seen some people who didn't even know that our church was here, who came to get food and have told us that they're gonna come to church tomorrow, which is just so awesome and so cool. This is a part of our mission and our vision. It's not just to have a gathering, but to be a church that really impacts our city and shows them that we love them just like Jesus loves them. And so we're so grateful. This has been incredible, and we believe God's just getting started right here in Nashville.
We always love serving our city. Serve Day is a huge day for the community to get touched with no strings attached. We're talking haircuts, food, school supplies, backpacks. As a church, we work for months in advance to put an event like this together so that we can come and be a absolute blessing to our community. This year in particular, we've seen more volunteers than ever. We're in 12 locations just in our city alone doing Serve Day. It is an all-out blitz for our community. We love doing it. We love what it does for the city. We love what it does for Life Point Church. And ultimately, we believe it's a blessing to Jesus. I want to challenge every pastor to participate in Serve Day and find ways to touch and reach and love your city with no strings attached. The gospel teaches us the doctrine of incarnation. Jesus left heaven, humbled himself, went into an environment and lived and did work there with no strings attached, inviting everyone to come to himself. And I think the Church of Jesus Christ should absolutely be fully invested in its community. And pastors, I want to encourage you too. Reach out to other churches in the community. This is one of the greatest ways to build friendships and partnerships across your town is through serving your city together in Jesus' name. Come on, let's go.
Okay, guys, we're about to play 3-on-3.
Yeah.
So here we got to figure that out. You gonna play down low?
Yeah.
You're gonna shoot?
Yeah, just give it to me.
And I'm gonna
Feed
come
him
in
the
for
rock.
about a minute.
Yeah.
That's all we got on Unscripted, okay?
Okay.
Hey, thanks for, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
Some ballers right here.
Love it.
Hey, glad to have you on Unscripted.
Me too.
Chad Sleeper.
Honored.
And tell us what you do.
Yeah, I get to be a part of a central outreach, oversee all the campuses at Highlands and Dream Centers. So
Yeah, it's
I'll
awesome,
be a part of that.
In the serve outreach world every day.
Yeah, every day.
Every day. Man, I'm so glad to have JP with me today. Man, we've been doing this a long time.
Long time.
25 years.
25
years
Yeah,
with a
going
Healing
strong.
Place.
Yep.
You became a part of our church there. Then
Yeah.
you and Tori Townley.
Oh, yeah.
Were the OGs of Outreach and Serve Day. You remember some of the first Serve Days?
Yeah, oh, yeah. The very first one.
So we did there at the church, and then being a part of Mission Me.
Yep.
All that you did in the West Coast, different
Yeah.
places,
Yeah.
and now being a part of. Tell us what you do now.
Yeah, so I get to serve with Servolution,
Yeah.
our Church of the Highlands, just in the mix of the serve communities within that. So yeah,
It's a good way to say it. Serve communities.
Yeah, it's the serve ecosystem.
Yeah.
It's,
So really, every day, one of the things I think is important I want to talk about, we had another great conversation with some of our favorite people, Jamil, Dr. Recker, the
Love 'em.
Erwins, love those
Yeah.
guys.
Art.
But what I want to talk about for a few minutes is I want to get down into the nitty-gritty.
Love it.
Into the nitty-gritty.
let's go. Let's get in the mud.
So if church calls you and says, we want to impact our community,
Mm-hmm.
what's some of the first things you're advising them, coaching them on?
First thing that I would tell them is you need to assess what is going on within your community that you as a church can practically jump into
We do the same thing.
Yeah.
immediately. And then I would also, inside of the church, figure out what is the culture of your church and can you meet that need on an ongoing basis? Is it a thing that you're going to jump into and really go for? So finding out what those needs are. I mean, that's like number one.
Assessment.
And then really understanding what you can start to really reach immediately and then like what's going to take time for you to build towards.
It reminds me, we talked about the Christ Health Center, where, God had that on Dr. Recker's heart. He met with Pastor Chris and said, well, I got a leader.
Yeah.
I got a need.
Absolutely.
So I'm here to help you fulfill the call that's on your life. So it's assessing your community
100%.
and then assessing the church. What's in the house that could make a difference? So what come alongside of that thought?
Yeah, no, I love that because I've always been, hey, let's in-reach before we outreach. What's in the house that we can go follow favor? Where's the need? There's a plight in every city. There's a code to crack in every city. And so doing that through those God sent you is a massive win. It's a warm call instead of a cold call into the city. And so we love following that, follow favor, find a need, meet a need, that type of thing.
Our first outreach, we started Healing Place, was a guy came to me and said, my mother was a single mom. We had a hard Christmas. I did a sermon on outreach, just loving people. And he stopped me. We were probably a church of about 8 months old. And we had done a few little things, some normal things, reach in the community, door to door, blah, 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 give out Christmas. He said, I want to make an impact on some single moms at Christmas. I thought, okay, this is a guy who has a heartfelt. He had resources. He had a call to do it. And we got together, we made an announcement. Any single moms, any? 6 came that night. He provided Christmas for them. It was in the house, and it was a need.
Love it.
Years and years later, JP, we were reaching 200-300 single moms.
Oh, easy,
having a party for them. I mean, doing all kinds.
We were doing tons of single moms.
All kinds of things. So it was there. When somebody says to you, okay, we're a small church, we can't make a difference. We don't have any money, ain't got no people. That's not an excuse not to be about the Great Commission locally.
Absolutely.
It doesn't take a lot of money,
No.
and it doesn't take a lot of people.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what are some of the basics of getting started in serve outreach world?
Again, back to that thought of who has God sent me? What's in my hand? Is there a guy that has a passion? Is there anybody that we could connect with? Is there
nurse.
a coach? Is there a teacher?
A coach.
Is there a mayor connect? Is there a city official that's connected?
Police officer.
Can we connect with them and just ask, hey, what's your vision for the city? Is there a way we can connect with you? Just touch a hand, touch a heart before you ask for the hand type thing. So I think you start real basic, real fundamental, blocking and tackling.
Small steps.
Don't underestimate that.
I like that.
Don't underestimate the power of presence. Just being there matters.
I remember when
That's true, man.
we
That's
had
really true.
the Havilands in our church, and they had Precious Lizzie with special needs. And out of that was a catalyst of learning that family, of that then helping us to learn on how to minister to that community.
100%.
But it was just one family in our church.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what is your advice? A church calls you and says, listen, we don't have a lot of money, don't have a lot of people, but we have a heart for our city.
Yeah.
What's their first base?
Yeah. I mean, I think that the first base is you have to say, I'm going to go do something. Like you actually have to make up your mind that you don't need everything in order and like ducks in a row, and you have to be ready to jump in the mud. I think just walking around your community, talking to like people, smiling, that will open up so many doors for you to start having like conversations, figuring out what's going on, and then you can really start to dive into the community. Look, it takes time to understand a community, and it takes time to figure out what needs you can really authentically meet, and so I think if you're walking in with, I just want to love on people, I want to be as real as I can, then you will need will find you when you're looking for it.
Somebody texted me today and said, family down the street lose their home, 6 people have moved in with their cousin, 12 in a home, 2 bedrooms.
Yeah.
I just found that need out today. So I've already began, to communicate with the campus pastor there. Well, that's just saying, okay, what does that family need? They've lost everything in a fire. We need to get them to Walmart. We're going to need to get them some kitchen, clothing, food, shoes for their kids. It's summertime. You're just starting to connect dots.
100%,
that's just good theology. That's good street theology. I'm dropping you off in a city. I'm dropping you off in Omaha.
Love it.
We're going to need to do an outreach in a week. What is going to be, you got like $100, $200. I'm asking JP first. You got to be thinking.
$100?
So you got a couple $100.
On the spot.
You're in Omaha and you need to do an outreach. Just go. Don't take a minute. You got to go. You're an expert at this. You do this.
I'm immediately calling schools, police, fire, figuring out exactly what is the problem. $100, you're not going to have some massive reach. So you're going to have to really dive in probably into one like family. So I would go to a school, figure out, hey, what is your family?
Is there a family in need?
Is there a family right now that has a current need? Is it shoes? Is it like backpack? Is it like glasses? Like what? Like why is this kid not coming to school? What is the problem? And I would jump in right there. I think schools is such a big door to get into communities anyways. So I would think long term with that, like 100, and I'd probably jump into school.
I even thought when you were saying that, being able to, I can remember a couple times I went and saw, there was an emergency room nurse that was working at a certain hospital that in that community, I knew that community was hurting. I remember stopping her one day after church and she did the late shift. And I said, tell me about, do you have any needs?
They'll have.
And she said, well, about 3, 4 a.m., there's people here waiting, and there's no snacks. And I remember you guys would bring them snacks.
All the time.
And so, again, that didn't take a lot. I mean, some Lance crackers, some fruit. That helped create conversation. That helped create a sense of community. That helped me to get to know people. I went to Earl K. Long Hospital with you guys at night. We went to that emergency room, had conversations, got to know the security guards, got to know some of those providers there. Creates more conversations. What would you do?
The same.
You're in Raleigh, North Carolina. ACC.
I think I start with what's the mind of the Lord for this city? Pray.
Okay.
Walk this city for a minute.
Pray a little bit, gonna get a spiritual vibe.
Yeah, and then, it may be a school, it may be a restaurant, it may be the hospital, whatever, a leader in that city that I could try to connect with and just say, hey man, how can we serve this city? I've got a heart for it. Here's a budget. Any thoughts? And just kind of go from there. I think it is the kindness of the Lord that brings men to repentance. I believe in that. And I believe if you show kindness in any space, I think there's a lot of doors that open. It's radical generosity that changes cities. And I believe in that. It's been that for my life in the spaces I've been in. And so I just want to duplicate that.
In every community, there's a community clinic. Okay, I remember going to meet with parole officers. I can remember going down, I don't know what they call it in every community, but there was a place that women could go that were pregnant, that were not able to get the correct services that they needed. that they were going to help them have their child, help them provide for their baby. We called it a different program in Louisiana, but I remember we went to that office and found out that they needed formula.
Absolutely.
And they needed diapers and wipes, and we bought them for that for a couple of years. We would stock their little closet.
Love it.
Again,
I remember that.
making connections, having conversations. Again, and I think a lot of people say, well, that's just drive-by. Nobody's getting saved. Well, that's not true at all.
No.
I'll argue anybody. I got saved through outreach. So if one person got saved, it works. So it's not drive-by. It's getting involved. And what happens, guys, is because of uncertainty, because of fear, because of our skepticism, because of our own doubt, we have paralysis.
Yeah.
So we're not going to do anything because we don't know if it works, or we're not going to do anything because this is it. I'm not one of those kind of guys.
No.
I'll do something.
Yeah.
Don't let your, the paralysis of well, I'm not sure, and I'm not, missional or attractional or seeker or blah, blah, all this. I'm not worried about all that. I'm going into all the world.
100%.
In small steps, in small ways, to try to impact someone's life, to be able to get into a conversation, get into a moment where I can introduce Christ, invite them to know Jesus, to be a witness or a testimony. I believe outreach and serve, it still works, whether that's organized, organic,
absolutely,
whether that's whether that's a big event or a small group,
Singular,
or a one-on-one, whether that's something consistent, or it's something that says, hey, we're going to do this seasonal.
We're going to try it.
Let me tell you, and the fear of failure will cause us to be paralysis.
I think about that quote, T. Boone Pickens, big-time billionaire in Oklahoma. I read a book, My First Billion Was the Hardest. He has a quote in that book that says, I'm not going to fall victim to the aim. At some point, I got to pull the trigger. And that's that dynamic. Somebody, you got to step, the city, the hurting are waiting on somebody to bring something to them. And just, step past your
you feel
pride.
like, well, it's not going to be perfect. How many outreaches have we done that didn't work or were not perfect?
I have been thrown out of like cities. Like I've been like banned for, like 24 hours because I was like handing out roses to moms on Mother's Day. And it was in a like public area. They're like, no, you can't. So like, I mean, I think that's the fun of it, man. Like
we
you
got
never
thrown
know.
off of street corners giving out water.
You got
thrown off of areas that we were giving out Chick-fil-A sandwiches when bars were closing at LSU.
That's part of it is you just got to go and you got to, like jump into it. I think for me, the way that I really justify all of it is it is the most tangible way that I can share my faith in a tangible way that a person doesn't have to think about theology, they don't have to think about anything. They can feel it in their body when they're eating that soup and they haven't eaten in 24 hours. They are feeling that love.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's what gets me going in it is like, man, I'm like the actual, like tangible gospel rolling forward.
I think about what you said just a moment ago about this is drive-by, it's not really lasting fruit. No, I think it's dropping seeds in the ground. I think some of us are depositing seeds. I think others are watering. I think others are harvesting.
It's all a part.
I think we're all just a part.
It's interesting though. Our part though, we want to get where it's the best part. It's the favorite part, and our and so it's the missional. It's the mission person saying, well, the teacher. It's the outreach guy saying, well, the discipler. But it's the discipler and the teacher that's saying, well, and at the end of the day, God is the Lord of the harvest. I want to make sure that I've done something to populate heaven and plunder hell.
Amen.
And I can remember there was a season when I was pastoring that I felt like we were getting a little inward, we were getting a little smart, a little heady, a little us, us. We're digging in deep. We're really leaning in. And I looked around. I didn't see a lot of lost people, a lot of hurting people. I didn't see the community. And I remember one Saturday we did an outreach, and it was like 5 of us. And we just went to this rough little area that wasn't too far from our church. And we went business to business cleaning toilets, cleaning their bathrooms.
Wow.
We had to do something.
I remember that,
And so that's not the funnest job. Some of these businesses Go in that cake, can we clean your bathroom? Can we clean your bathroom? Some of them said no, some said yes, some were like, what? But a few of them said, why?
Yeah.
Would you want to go in that bathroom and clean it? Man, we had
And you're just waiting for someone to ask you why.
Bucket, spraying that thing down. I'm going to clean that thing. You'd go into a bathroom, hadn't been cleaned in months.
Put a mask
Restocking toilet paper, putting in that soap. We went after it.
That's awesome.
And I remember stopping at one of the stores off of Seagate.
Yeah.
It's right there off of Seagate, and that store was a dicey store, man. It was a situation, and I don't know how I ended up on that one. How you didn't end up on that one, or Tori or something. But I was in that one.
Right,
I believe Gilleylen may have been with me, and we were in there cleaning. And that guy said, "Why in the world are you doing this?"
Wow.
And I said, "Man, I'm the pastor of that church down there."
Yeah.
And I came down here to show you in a practical way God loves you.
Come on.
The only reason why I'm doing it is I want you to know God loves you.
It's awesome.
God made me come down there and do that.
Love it.
And but he laughed and he was shocked. He looked at me and said, "I'm speechless."
That's my favorite
that
part.
you in
That's
here with my
favorite
toilet.
Love it.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, that's how much God loves you."
Yeah.
And we had a good value, and so I started going back to that shop.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'd go over there. And there was CC's Pizzas, right by CC's
Love
Pizza.
it.
Yeah.
And when I go to CC, I'd shake him, "Hey man, what's going on?" Shake his hand, we talk a little
Love
bit.
it.
So what are you doing? Trying to build a bridge.
You're washing feet. You got the towel.
Yeah.
Nothing's beneath you.
What's one of your favorite outreaches?
Man, I just think about one coming tomorrow on Serve Day. I think one that we're about to do free gas for everybody.
Yeah,
it's
that's cool.
it's a radical Why would you pay for my
Top it off a little bit.
yeah. And so they're all great. The gas, I think connecting in the community when we do this big blowout, and there's a lot of different multiple type of scenarios that are going on. A lot of that. A prayer tent's happening.
Have you ever brought your kids? You got 4 boys.
Yeah, my boys.
Have you ever brought your boys to that race?
One of my most special moments with thinking back was when my wife and I took a group. Sarah Beth took our 4 boys. They were young, but they came with us, went to a nursing home. They had their hymns out, singing little songs.
Being there.
Just connecting. Yeah. Just exposed to
like last year when you and I went down there to the warming.
Oh yeah, warming station.
Warming station. We had brought coats,
food.
some snacks, connected with
awesome.
the leaders there.
Yeah.
Just being there. We weren't there long.
Yeah.
But we were just there, and you brought some coats from your kid's closet. You cleaned out. I remember you had a wad full of coats that you brought down there, and I'm sure you communicated that to your sons.
Absolutely. I do that because my dad did that. That's how I've been. I was raised in that. I saw Dad pay for gas. I saw Dad take care of a food, awesome. get somebody a hotel overnight. Just always had that heart of never walking by, never passing by.
I don't tell these stories of self-service, just an example.
Of course.
Yeah.
And we got so many examples at serveday.com.
Yes.
Servolution.
Absolutely.
All those Instagram sites that we do.
Yeah.
Church of the Highlands, you can find things, Serve Day.
Yeah.
All the just lists.
Yeah.
Rachel puts those lists together. It's just we're always building lists for people.
Yeah.
We have books, we have resources, Servolution, Serve Your City, small group curriculums, all those things that we'll tell you about. But I was at a restaurant last night, and I connected with the waiter. Mm-hmm. There was something there. Mm-hmm. With this gentleman, and Dylan and I were there. Sean and Lynn were there, and I felt led to give an extra tip.
Come on,
just add a little something to it. Didn't say anything like, "Hey, man."
Yeah.
But he stopped and said, "Hey, I know." He told me. He said, "That was a lot. Thank you."
Yeah.
I said, "Man, you're a good dude."
That's good.
awesome.
He says, "You're doing a great job."
It's awesome.
So I just want you to know that you're doing a great job.
It's awesome.
And he already knew that we were people of faith.
Yeah.
Because we'd already had that moment.
Yeah.
But I wanted to follow it up.
It's beautiful.
With little action. You know what I'm saying? I'm the person on faith, but now I got some action coming your way. And some greenbacks coming at you.
Go.
What's your favorite outreach?
Man, I would say my all-time favorite is a widow's single mom car prep.
Yeah.
For multiple reasons, because you have a community that potentially cannot get their cars done, and so you have men who are out there with their sons and they're serving,
man.
and then you have the youth group is like out there washing it, cleaning
Dying
it.
to change a tire.
And then the women's ministry on the inside is doing nails, and they're like eating with them.
That's that dude got jumper cables in his truck. Hoping somebody's battery goes down at Walmart.
Yeah, and so
that's my thing.
Yeah. So and then you have like them getting their like nails done, eating food, and then you have the like kids ministry, and they're doing kids stuff. So
those are significant.
For me, I used to love those because it's widows.
There's churches still do.
Like widows is. That's like it's very clear that we should be doing that. But the whole church in their ministries can come serve in different areas of the same large outreach. And so it hits so many different things of why I loved it. And then you see these like
and
women.
We did it before Mother's Day.
Yep. We would do it a couple weeks
There's
prior.
churches that do it now. I see it online.
And man, just seeing those like widows, like I haven't had my car taken care of in 5 years because I haven't had anyone to help me.
Pastor Chris has a heart for widows.
Yes, he does.
And we've ramped that up.
Yes.
We've learned from a lot of different churches. But man, I am really fired up about what we're doing with widows.
Love it.
Give me 60 seconds on what we're doing.
Yeah, we this year we did a widows brunch. Over 700 widows in our churches, in our campuses came. Brunch. And then we found out needs on Mother's Day.
We found out needs that morning.
And then right after that, we did Mother's Day, oil change certificate. But hey, with the women's team, let us know. We want to pray with you.
How can we help you?
How can we help? We got a big old serve day. We got a lot of people that want to go out and help.
How many needs did we
600 projects from Widows Brunch and Mother's Day.
600.
300 came together.
You edit them. You got to vet them.
Go check on it. What is it? Is it a roof? Is it a yard? Is it a light bulb? Is it a toilet? Let's put a team together. A small group adopts it. Then we go do it on serve day.
That's how people always ask me, how do you get 20,000 people on the street?
Small groups.
It's small groups and projects. It's that way.
That's it.
Yes. We don't have 20,000 people at a party.
We don't have 20,000 employees. No. We can't carry that on an anchor project or a big block party. It's the people.
Yeah.
We turn people loose.
Yeah.
We give ministry away.
And we do that. And then
the people start to look for it. They're looking for it every day now.
Yeah, and then you can find out about it through, how many projects at this Serve Day do we do?
We have over 1,000 right now.
You can find out through the Serve app.
Serve app is massive.
So you can wake up on a Serve Day morning.
Yes.
And know where to go. Yeah. Kid friendly. Do I bring a rake?
That's right.
Do I bring a trash bag?
Find a project near me. Boom.
Okay.
Uber.
And then there's research. We do first Saturday.
Every month.
Every month, you can be involved with those things.
Right.
Those are consistent.
Absolutely.
These are and then there's events that we do. Giving Hope.
Yeah.
I mean, churches do all kinds of events around Christmas.
Yeah, tons of them.
Around Thanksgiving, back to school.
Back to school.
Right. Acts of kindness.
Acts of
Mother's
kindness.
Day,
Mother's Day.
Yeah.
So
New
there's
Year's.
events.
Yep.
And then, but what do you tell the person? I want to wrap up here.
Yeah.
Because there's some people like us that this is the way you're wired. You're supposed to do this.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think, well, my church isn't. Mm-hmm. Well, my church doesn't. Mm-hmm. You know, I remember when I first got saved, got a little mad at the church, little church hurt, little church mad. They're not doing this. They're not helping these people.
Of course.
And I remember my pastor. I went to him one day and stopped. We're not helping the street people. Not doing anything but the street people.
Of course.
And it was like he looked at me and said, "Well, why don't you?
Absolutely.
Let us lead you.
Yeah.
I've got more wisdom. Let me lead you through it.
Yeah.
Why don't you do that?"
Yeah.
He helped me. He coached me on doing a street ministry called Fishers of Men.
Love it.
Come on, baby. Summer of '83. I went to Bible college, JSBC represent.
Let's go.
So Fishers of Men. He gave me some boundaries because I was out there doing everything.
Yeah, just rolling.
No, let's get some boundaries.
There you go.
But a lot of times everybody's complaining about the church. Church isn't church.
Yeah.
That's not true.
No. That church exists because they have a heart for that community, you know?
And so why not come alongside?
God sent you.
100%. Yeah.
And take the way God wired you.
Absolutely.
And come alongside of that church.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Be a champion for the church.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Be a cheerleader for the church. Support your pastor. Get in there. What can I do? What can we? And my first couple of outreaches, he didn't let me go out in the streets. Mm-hmm. He said, "Well, vacuum.
Yeah.
Clean the church up to see if you have a heart to serve, or are you trying to be seen?
There you go.
You know, you want to be seen, you want to be the leader, or you want to get in here on team and clean up the church a little bit.
Love it.
Do a few things, support on Sunday.
Yeah.
Go out there
while
and
you're there,
help with them kids.
Yeah.
There's always something that can be done. And sometimes, and speak to this and then we'll wrap up, but the need is so big in my city. There's so many that are fighting drug addiction. There's so many that are in halfway houses. There's food, there's domestic violence, there's abuse, there's racism, there's hate, there's all these different things that are happening. It's just so big. What can one person do?
Yeah. I mean, there are so many things that you can dive into in your everyday life. If you wake up one morning and you say, I'm just going to not talk, I'm just going to look at people and think, what could their need be? Like, we were trying to figure out how to reach like businessmen. We were like, hey, how do you reach businessmen? They already got it. They already have everything that they need. And we found out that there was a place where they would all go eat lunch. And they all had bad like breath. Yeah. And so we would bring them gum. And these businessmen, because they're looking for, like they're eating and going to go get all the garlic out of their teeth. And they're trying to clean it up.
Hygiene, brother.
But look, hey, that's the most simple thing. And the amount of conversations that we had with businessmen of the city. And they're like, what are you doing? And we were there in their moment of need. So for me, I would say, open your eyes, look around in your everyday journey in your life, and what are the needs? I guarantee you'll at least find one. And then you just start there.
Yeah.
Easy.
I would just say, the need's always going to be with you. It's always going to be there.
It's always going to be more.
Yeah, just almost go internal, ask the Lord, what am I passionate about? What am I good at? What do I have an eye for? You've helped me keep your head on a swivel in every environment, notice people, again, walk slow, all those dynamics. And as you do that, that's the mind of the Lord. That's the heart of the Lord in this area. And so I think, hey, God, what are you leading me to? Where is there favor on my life? Who are you connecting me with? I think you start there. You can get overwhelmed real quick in today's culture.
We think about like Sarah Beth, your wife. She doesn't get the same expression opportunity you have. She raised 4 boys.
Right.
Works. But I bet you she's making a difference. Hearing about something at school.
Absolutely.
In the neighborhood. Same with your wife.
Connecting with a mama.
Nurse.
Nurse practice.
I mean, all this world, but she's seeing needs.
100%.
And she's letting you know, I saw somebody today. Dylan does the same thing. Dylan will call me sometimes and say, hey, I noticed this person, I heard this. We need to respond and do something. Joyce Meyer said this. She said, I wake up every day and I make a decision that I'm going to bless one person.
Beautiful.
That's awesome.
Beautiful. I'm going to be a blessing I'm going to do something for one person. Beautiful. It may be, hey, I'm going to pay for your nails. We're getting our nails done. Hey, let me catch that for you. Let me be kind. Let me, I was getting off a plane the other day and there was one of the elderly ladies trying to get her bag up the jetway. I said, let me get that for you. Let me get that. Yeah. She wouldn't let me do it. And she said, I got it. But I felt urge. Yeah. I felt the unction to ask. To let me roll it up for you. And again, she independent, but it wasn't about me doing it. It was about me being obedient.
That's right.
And it was about me asking. And so that was what that was my assignment was I ended up behind her to ask her that question.
Love it.
And I just think if you wake up, and that was the person I was trying to bless. So if you wake up every day, who can I bless? That's for the preacher, the worship leader, the small group leader, the children's pastor, the church, the business leader. What are we doing? And again, we want to do everything we can to give churches resources.
Absolutely.
And so this is Unscripted with JP.
My God.
Woodlawn represent.
Yeah, that's right.
Chad Sleeper, about to shoot that 3. Thank y'all. Hey, what's going on? I'm with Vidal in Bessemer, representing Bessemer. What are we doing today? The generous people of Highlands in our Serve project here.
Yeah, it's been a special day. We got to hang out with the Ramirez family who just 2 months ago lost their 21-year-old daughter after a surgery procedure went wrong. And today we got to share the love of Christ with them because they just moved into this home. So today we got to bless them with a washer, a dryer, a couch, and it was their daughter's birthday party. Jackie, she turned 12 years old. We got to gift her with some of the best presents she's ever had and a great birthday party.
And their young boy is just here and we got to give him toys. Look at him loading in. Those are the real Serve Day people right there. That's Dream Teamers right there. Carrying a washer, dryer, TV.
We got pressure washing going on.
Goods, kitchen supplies. So thanks a lot to the generous people of Church of the Highlands. Of course, I'm just so grateful for our pastor and our church. You get to see it all the time. Reaching people, making a difference. That's what it's all about.
It's what it's all about. And it's such an honor to be able to partner alongside so many people and bless our community. So thank you, Highlands, for everything you're doing because you are making a difference here in our community.
Serve Day 24.
Let's go.
Serve Day 24.
Let's go.
one little step. His wife can't get out to the back because she's on a walker and he can't see.
One little step's gonna change somebody's life.
Yeah.
Gonna make it better.
Yeah.
We're actually building 100 beds on site today for kids that don't have beds. This is remarkable, and the project itself is a machine. Oh, yes. Hey!
Can we clap our hands for God's Pit Crew, which is an amazing partner.
Great.
Hey, Jamil, we've been talking on Unscripted about outreach and about serving. Here we are at an event, at a moment. It's never about the project. It's always about the people. We got produce, simple produce. What is going on today that churches could do this?
Churches can do this anywhere. We're simply preparing families and students for school. So we basically provide an opportunity where parents can get their kids the supplies they need, but also have an opportunity to get produce. But it's even more than the practical needs. We realize the church can also provide spiritual needs. There's also a prayer opportunity. We have a ministry moment, and we're believing and trusting that God used this opportunity for salvations as well.
And then we do this whole thing like shopping buddies, or like we pair families with other people so there becomes a friendship.
Right, and that's intentional because we want relationship to be formed. It's all about relationship. And so as long as we can create opportunities where people can come in connection and relationship with each other, we believe that special things
So
can
give me a minute on how do you get supplies, and then how did you get people here?
So we just kind of did grassroots. We basically went to social media. We contacted, we also contacted principals, and they contacted their parent list and let parents know that they can get most of their school supplies.
You're in this community.
Yes. So we're very connected to the community, just wanting to be a fabric of really just kind of the neighborhood as a whole. And we just kind of trying to make a difference. When you do acts of kindness like this, it strengthens the community and it empowers the neighborhood.
And it's not one and done.
Oh no. Serve day every day.
Serve day every day. As simple as some squash, cucumbers, carrots, onions, potatoes, lettuce. So again, doesn't take a lot of money, doesn't take a lot of time. It just takes open hearts and people that are willing to say, let's try something.
Yeah, it's just some intentionality. Just say, hey, you know what? We're going to get together on this day and do the little we can. You'll be amazed at how big of a difference small acts of kindness can make.
Christmas in July. That was creative.
Christmas.
We have a generous church. You know, the people of God are very generous. The people of God are very generous. So you wonder sometimes when you give to a church, what about my tithe? What about my offering? I thank God for the integrity of Highlands, stewardship of our pastor. But people are giving, and you see this happening. 2,800 churches when we did our serve day back in the summer. But then it's constant.
It's constant. And generosity can be done in very simple forms. But I think as believers, just the one thing that should mark us. I think we should stand out by the generosity we display.
Unscripted.
Unscripted. Come check it out.